Live. We'll go, hello, fans, and now we're going to start the show.
Okay.
This is 2OF Entertainment.
Well, here we go. It's the man that promises you nothing and delivers. It's the veritable man motor mouth. It's Roald Woods who feels the need to call himself Rob Vega. It somehow makes him feel important. Anyway, do have a listen and try not to throw up.
Two things. Hello.
Yeah.
Two things.
One.
That thing says South Africa's top radio host. That is extraordinarily debatable.
Okay, well,
probably
we
not
think
even
you are.
true.
Well,
Probably
for
not
us
even
it is. If you want to stay, we could change it if you want.
Right. No, it's fine. It's okay. We can live in bullshit. It's okay. Most of the world is anyway.
It's
And the other thing was, I must just tell you that opening line, the show that promises you nothing and delivers. Do you remember way back, or I think you would, Steve, and anybody familiar with radio in the 80s? There used to be, I think it was called the Drake or Dragon Talent Search in Radio. Not familiar with. Okay, so this is specifically peculiar to the US, and I think it was called the Drake Talent Search or something like that. And they had these.
Okay.
There was this competition,
right.
which looked for the best radio talent across the US in all the formats.
Sure.
And it was the era of the Grease Man.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Doug Track to the Grease Man.
Yeah.
Wow. Forget Howard Stern. The Grease Man, in my view, was the real deal. And then they also had this. I remember from that I came across. They had a guy called the Boss Groover, Boss Groover, and he used to talk in rap and rhyme in every link. And then there were these. They had this pairing of what was it, Mike O'Meara and Don Geronimo from WAVA, and it was when I was getting into radio, I was having a look at, because.
Yeah, well,
you
have that.
And I was looking at what they were doing and how they were doing it.
You've got that 1980s. Hey, everybody, welcome to the WKRP in Cincinnati.
How you doing?
Yeah,
it was good. There was some good personalities and good guys. But
remember, Dr. Devo, where he would play songs that were so crazy that nobody. Dr. Demento, he would play songs that nobody ever heard of, like Marvin, the 144th. Quickest cowboy in the West. They're great. And then Casey Kasem.
Of course. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Casey Kasem, shame. He and then his family kind of took over his life, and it just got very sad. Right. There's always a problem. But there was some great and Rick Dees. There was a guy called Rick Dees.
Sure, I remember Rick Dees. Yeah.
Yeah. There were some great guys. But anyway, what I wanted to say was I don't know who it was, but one of them had this strap line. I can't remember who it was. It said, "Welcome to the show that promises you nothing and delivers." So
when you said strap, I thought you said strap on. I got excited. I was like, "Oh, we're doing a whole different type of show now." I was like, "All right,
we hear what we hear. We hear what we want to hear."
There you go.
But I wanted to just pay deference to that. Anyway, so. Yeah, there's a lot going on.
I know. And did you hear Biden's speech last night?
I heard some of it, and let me just say before we get to that.
Yeah.
I just want to go on a little journey before we get to any of that, because there's a lot of things going on in the US right now. I thought, do I focus on that? Do I focus on other things? Maybe talk about teams, why people want teams. And I thought, no, there's something I just want to say this week, and that is, back in 1996. Was the first time that I went to the US, and I landed in Miami. I got a questionable, I think it was an Oldsmobile. That's what they gave me. It was the size of the Amazon River, width-wise. No center thing. It was just like a couch in the front of the.
Good old cars back in the day.
It was terrific, and it was the first time I encountered a drinks holder, which was great. And I thought, why doesn't every car have these? Huh? That's a very important feature, by the way. And I made I booked nothing, and I drove from Miami to Naples, and then all the way up the west coast to Tallahassee, went over the Sky Bridge,
right,
all the way through Pensacola, through the what is it, that what do you call it, the Panhandle, boom, into Mobile, Alabama. Learned how to
Oh.
sing Mobile instead of mobile. Mobile, Alabama.
Yeah, they don't know the difference.
Then this is a journey. Then ended up in New Orleans, because that's how you say it, New Orleans.
Well, I know.
New
New Orleans.
One word, New Orleans.
Cafe, did you go Cafe Du Monde?
I did not. I went to, well, what's Cafe Du Monde? Remind me.
Oh, Cafe Du Monde. It used to be this little nut thing on the I guess the river there that you'd buy these French baguettes, which were great, and coffee or hot chocolate.
Okay.
Now, this like takes over the whole block. But back in the day, it was just like this little nothing place you would go
Du
to.
Monde. Cafe Du Monde.
That's
The Mountain Cafe. The Mountain Cafe. Cafe
Yeah,
Du Monde.
now it is a mountain.
Yeah. So, and then I overnighted in Shreveport on my way to Norman, Oklahoma. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is that even when I was a kid in the late 70s, early 80s, I'd always thought one day I want to end up in the US, even if it's temporary, maybe live there. I wanted to see. And I found an immigration attorney in Norman, Oklahoma, and I thought, well, I'll land in Miami and snake my way through the country to him. That was my thinking, and it was great. I met a lot of people, talked to a lot of people. I didn't want to do the tourism thing. I hate tourism things more than you can imagine. I hate it.
Right.
I thought, if I'm ever going to live here or be a part of this, whatever this is, I want to talk to normal people, the ordinary people, not some tourist guide or look at this big monument. I don't care about that stuff. I really don't. Me personally, I wanted to just see, is this a society, a country, a place, a community that I would enjoy? And I did. From the word go, it was great. Yeah, the people are all different. It's been great. I am getting to my point. So eventually got to Norman, Oklahoma,
Sure.
met my then who would become my immigration attorney and a radio guy. I went on his show and we had some fun and it was great. It was terrific. Okay. And then once that was done, I snaked my way back, went via the Atlanta Games, the Olympic Games. This was 1996, of course. Saw a basketball game, had no idea what I was watching. Not really. But I was at the Olympics. Yay, me. And then snaked back, went to Orlando, and then home. And I had such a great time. It was terrific. Started to get my visa and all that sorted, and it was wonderful. Then a few years later, 2000, came back, toured the country with my wife. We went to San Francisco. We even stopped in Chicago for a bit. Went to North Carolina, went to the Outer Banks. Brilliant. And then finally, we've hit a few hiccups and finally moved to the US in 2012, and we were there for 3 years. Now, the reason I'm saying this is I've always looked at the US. I've told you this. I've never thought of it as a country. I've thought of it as an idea. It's the execution. It's a societal execution of an idea. Let's get away from that. Let's start this. Nobody must tell us no. Let's just do it.
Right.
Great. You get the full weight of humanity, the good and the bad. I liked it. I thought it was young. It was fresh. I loved what it was about, and it's always been good. But the one thing that really struck me when I moved there in 2012, about 4 days after we got there, my phone went crazy, and there was this Amber Alert, and I didn't know what an Amber Alert was. And
Crayon got loose.
A kid was missing, and they put this out, and I thought, I just got a taste. I thought, oh, this is great. This is how the community comes together. There was a sense of community from day one for me. Okay. When I first got there, a guy came over and he said, hello, how are you? And I thought, this is great. People reach out. There are no fences. Where I've come from, there's walls and fences. Here, there's no fences. Now, I later discovered it wasn't a community thing. He needed to know who the hell I was so he could put me in a box. Okay. But put that aside. I've always thought there was a great sense of community. People didn't have to necessarily agree, but when the shit hit the fan, when there were problems, they were like, okay, I hate you, but right now we're working together as Americans. Here we go, bang. And I thought, this is great. This is wow. And a few days after I got to the US was Sandy Hook. It was in the next county from where I was living. in Ridgefield. Sandy Hook was down the road.
Yeah.
And the way people just bandied together, and I thought this is going to be great. I love this. Not perfect. The people, there's freedom of speech. People disagree with each other. That's fine. But you know what? When it counts, bang.
Right.
And over the years, I guess it probably started before even when I got there, but over the last decade, from 2012 till now, I don't know, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, probably wrong. I've just seen an erosion of what I've really respected about America, that community thing.
Right.
I'm under no illusion that it's perfect. Who is? But there was always a sense of possibility. I've always said America was like a baby, a kid with money. You know, I like that. I gravitated to, I was attracted to that. I still am. I still think it's there. But the thing that disappointed me I'm sorry, I'm getting really serious here, but the thing that's really disappointed me was this whole partisan thing that's crept in. I understand politics, but the thing that I've always felt is freedom of speech. You should be able to say what you want, and we should be able to disagree, and that's fine. But you've almost reached an age now where if you disagree with me, then you're a piece of crap.
Right.
Your values are wrong. You're a demon. You're Satan, and I don't want to know you. You excommunicated from my circle of friends, and so on. That's one part of it. The other part of it is, and now this is when I get to my point. You've got what's going on in LA, the fires, obviously. Okay, and I thought, no worries. The people are going to bandy together. They're going to put aside their differences. They're going to fix this. They're going to fix this because they can. They fix the smart people there, rich, poor, whatever it is, because America's not about that. It's about anyone, being anybody. It's not about rich and hang on, Steve. That's what Europe was about. That's what America was designed to get away from. Get rid of these classes. No classes. You can be a poor guy and make $1 billion. There's always that possibility. Look at the Boston underpass. Things that they said couldn't be done. Okay, that's what I've thought. Great, but now what you're seeing is when the fires happen, and I just thought, why even talk about politics? Why even and the blame game and the bullshit? And you did this and you did that, and who's going to take credit? And I just thought, what has happened? What has happened? Or maybe it was never there. You would know better than me. But what has happened to that American ideal of, all right, I hate you, you motherfucker, but right now, we're going to fix this. We've got a common enemy, whether it's Russia, a fire on the Palisades, whatever it is, we're going to fix that. And we're not going to bitch about whatever. We're going to fix that as a unit, as a people, as a community. Fix that. And then later we can punch each other in the pub. But it's gone.
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem.
Maybe it wasn't there. I don't know.
It was kind of there. The last time we really had the nation come together was 9/11, which is 21 years ago.
Yeah.
I was in New York at that time. And there was no horn honking. There was no, everybody was like, we're banding together. The joke we used to say is like when the Brooklyn Dodgers left Brooklyn in like 56 or 57, there's still people today that hate the Dodgers because they moved. These will be the same people that hate everybody from whatever. That was a big kumbaya moment. Like we're gonna save the planet. And also when Captain Sully landed his jet in the Hudson because he didn't like the runway. The city came together.
Yeah.
But that's New York, and New York is in America. New York is New York. There's a different mentality there. California.
Let me stop you for a second. You can carry on.
Yeah.
When my first visit to New York, which was 2000 properly, I went into a Starbucks or something, and I was talking to the guy, and he picked up all the regionalities in my accent. He could tell I was from the UK, but he even identified which parts of South Africa I'd been in, and he picked it up, and I was very impressed. God, what was I going to say?
Do you want to show us where he touched you on the doll, or?
No. What did you say before that? You were talking about?
New York. New York's New York. New
Yes,
Yorkers.
yes. Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. He said to me, I said, I'm enjoying America, and I was referencing him as an American. He says, no. He says, New York is not America. It's an
That's
island off the east coast of the United States.
That's right.
Okay,
New
sorry,
York,
Carrie. You were going to say.
New Yorkers and New York is not America. It is New
Yeah.
York.
He was
It
very
is
clear about
different.
that.
Oh, we are. I tell everybody to watch this special on Netflix. Colin Quinn is a comedian. He does a thing that's called The History of New York.
Right.
And people that meet me, they go, I don't get you. I go, watch that. After they watch that, they're like, oh, I get it. I'm like, that's the mentality of a New Yorker. You know, it's like we shame each other, we do this, we do that. But when the shit hits the fan,
Yeah.
New York, whether you are worth $1 or $1 trillion, New Yorkers are like, we got, just take care of it. We got to take care of it now. In LA, the problem is, here's the perfect example. You go to a baseball game in New York, you get your hot dogs, you get your peanuts, you get your beer. You go to a baseball game in LA, you get avocado, a martini, maybe. So, the people in LA, I'm sorry for what's happening, but yeah, you're pussies. And that's why.
You're
If that
such an East
happened
Coast guy.
I know.
Stephen, you're such an East Coast guy.
I know. And if that happened in New York, we would have put out the fire because you know why? Everybody would have went, fuck this, gone to the Hudson.
Yeah.
They would have put it in a day.
Oh,
Done.
shit.
California.
California
is like, we're going to bring it in. The best part was fire trucks from Oregon came in.
Yeah.
And they didn't pass the emissions test. So now they're sitting in Sacramento and can't fight the fire. And I'm like, that's California. New York would be like,
really?
Yeah, it was in the papers, whether it's true or not, or someone made it up. It's just, that's so California. The best part about New York, they
100%.
wouldn't give a shit if you had a car that was polluting and like going to make everybody there like, bring it, go, bring it. They would bring guys from Riker Island. They would put them in the fire to go fight the fire. New York has a different mentality. New York is, as they say, is an island off the East Coast, and
that's what he said. What he said to me.
It's this little plot of land where when I lived there was like 6 million people. Now there's like 36 million people. But now they all live here. They all have to work together, get along. They have to ride the tubes together. It is New York. And it's a Northeastern mentality that California, and the problem is apparently when you move to California from New York, you become a pussy. And it's the problem the same when they move to Florida. They cross the Mason-Dixon line and they lose all their brain cells. And once again, they become pussies. These people have no clue. And that's the problem. And you need New Yorkers to run everything. And unfortunately or fortunately, Donnie's a New Yorker. So he's going to run everything. And the world will be a better place.
I gotta say, for me, and this is just my take, I used to hear these stories of these like rough and whatever New Yorkers and rude. And I thought, all right, cool. Thanks for the heads up. Right. And I spent 3 years in the city. I'm still trying to find a rude New Yorker because what I consider rude is clearly not what other people consider rude. I thought
pansies.
What I liked about it is I knew exactly where I was with people.
Yep.
If someone's talking to you, they're going to talk to you. They want to talk to you. If they don't want to talk to you, they want to talk to you. So there is a very clear sense of reality, and the people. I just found them. I mean, not patronized. This is who I am. That's it. Done. And they haven't built up layers of bullshit around them. Because I think if you do that, people will go, what are you doing? And that'll be that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if moving west, you would know more than me.
Stop it. It just makes them weak.
The only part of the West Coast I've been to is my wife and I stayed 3 days in San Francisco, and I don't want to disparage San Francisco, but I'd always imagined it as being 10 times bigger than it is. I thought it was massive, and we got there, and my wife went. I mean, obviously, she cares about size, right? But we just thought we've kind of driven around in the city in an hour.
Yeah.
Where's the rest of it? And they went, no, that's it. Yeah. And then we thought, all right, well, okay, fine. And then we went on the Alcatraz tour, and that was great. And we thought, all right, that's fine. Little touristy. That wasn't what we wanted to do. And because you've got like thousands of people. I think if it was just you and maybe the prison warden,
then it's
fine.
okay.
You get to wander around and there's not so many people. I mean, I can't imagine what it must be like now. Selfies and shit. This was now 2000 when we did this, and it was okay because people weren't into the whole mobile cell phone selfie bullshit.
Right.
But it was still, there were just way too many people. So if you wanted to go and, let's say you wanted to go to Alcatraz and I don't know, get a sense of what the place was about.
Yeah.
Alcatraz is a place of solitude.
Yes.
It's a place of isolation. Well, you're not going to get that at all. And I remember standing there and there were 50 people around me. I was in the cell of the Birdman. I think he was the Birdman.
Yeah, I did the tour too. Yep.
Right. So there I was, and I just thought, it feels like a mall. This is a prison.
All the people. Yeah.
And okay, so we got out of there quickly. We went back to, I guess, the city, and we were introduced to something called a Roy Roger, something, a drink.
It's a hamburger joint, sure. Or
no, but it's
drink.
a drink. It's like
Roy Roger drink. Okay, yes, that's like it's the reversal of a Shirley Temple is or a Roy Rogers or non-alcoholic drinks. There you go.
Yes, it's got like I don't know, Dr. Pepper or Coke and something. I don't know.
It has Coke. Anyway, go ahead.
Right.
So
does it? Okay.
Miami, baby.
And I just remember thinking, okay, and we went to Pier, whatever the pier is, 39 or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah, 1946 hike. Yeah.
And I remember, this is the weirdest thing. What struck me is every store had a sign looking for people.
Yeah.
And I went, wow, that's cool. Okay, that was 2000. It might be different now.
Yeah.
And I also remember we parked a car. Is it a Kinko's?
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 Yeah, there's a Kinko's. Yes, Kinko's, sure.
We parked outside of Kinko's and there was no, it was just a space. There were no lines.
Yeah.
Wait, so we came out of I can't remember what we went in there. Whatever Kinko's was, a photocopying store or whatever it was.
Copy, pictures, whatever you need.
Right. Yes. When people had cameras and crap. So we went and then we came out and we got a violation, a traffic thing on our windshield. Let me say the word correct. It's windshield.
Yeah.
Why is it windscreen and windshield? That's another just chat.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So there it was, and I went, oh, that's crazy. And then I looked at it, and it said, you're parking in a no parking, whatever. So then I had my camera and all my equipment, and I did a whole sweep around the car, took video, blah, blah, blah. And there was nothing to tell you that there was this what they said it was.
Right.
And I thought, okay, I'm waiting for this. And I appealed, and I got off. So I got off the fine.
And then you got off the ticket as well, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Yes. But that was my experience of San Francisco. And it's fine. And then we headed it up to via Sacramento. You mentioned Sacramento.
Yeah, Sacramento's very nice.
We went to Lake Tahoe. That was amazing.
Tahoe's very nice. If you go
very
on
nice.
Nevada, you go on the Nevada side, it's tax-free. Hey, when you were in San Francisco.
We didn't. But we came around. We took this road and we looked at the map. This was pre-GPS, and we thought we had the big those shell map books. And I thought, I'm a pretty good navigator. Where is this lake is big? What the hell? And the road comes like, and then you drive over a short hill, and bang, there it is.
Yep.
That we could because we came up from the California side, from that side.
Not the good side. I get it.
The northwest side. Well, now I discovered that, but northwest side, and it was stunning. I mean, it was pretty cool. And then.
Let me ask you this question really quick before we leave Lake Tahoe. When you were in San Francisco and you went to the bar, were the bar stools upside down? Because I heard you can get 4 people on a stool that way. Just trying to help out.
No, but well, I didn't know because that's not really my thing. I mean, I'm not judging if you.
Yeah. In San Francisco, if you drop your wallet, you kick it all the way down to San Jose.
It's okay.
Just kick it to San Jose, you'll be fine. Anyway, so now you're in Lake Tahoe. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just couldn't resist.
I will say, going back, just a reference back to San Fran.
Stop it.
We stop it. We went to a restaurant the one evening, and it was the craziest thing because I'd never encountered people sitting so close to me ever. Not even in New York. Not even in New York. There were rows of people, and they were sitting like I could touch knees. Ooh. They were right next to me. and these were my standouts. Oh, we did go to the what's Sausalito, the big redwoods or whatever.
Sausalito is right over the bridge. You make a left.
Yeah, and that was pretty cool. By the way,
Sausalito is also a good name if you're gay, because there's a lot of S's and C's. The Sausalito. I'm just trying to help. That's nice little art.
Okay.
It's very nice there. You can buy lots of art. I love it. Oh my God. Anyway, yeah, Sausalito is a great place. Anyway.
Yeah, big trees, very nice.
Yeah, big people. So, America. So now you're in Lake Tahoe on the wrong side of it. And then what?
So that was it. Anyway, and then from there where did we go after that? Why am I talking? Oh, then we missed our flight at the airport, and then went in the afternoon. We flew to North Carolina, Outer Banks, Washington D.C., New York, home.
Sure.
But even in 2000, the people I've always enjoyed. You see, I don't care. The views are great. Right. The monuments or whatever, the big buildings, yeah. And you're a New Yorker, so people are doing this, and you're going, it's a building. It is a building. That's what it is. Get over it. It's a big ass building. So freaking what? Why don't you get in? I started to have that view. I saw people, because they said that you can talk to tourists. They were looking up, and I became that guy judging the people looking up. And I'm going, you should sample the food. For me, New York was about the food. That was what it was about. That was probably my biggest takeaway. Just the sheer variety of countries, of people, of food, of opinions.
Right.
And everybody we all
get along.
Yeah, you do that. And the one guy said to me once, I don't know what the context was, but he said, because you'll see people arguing. They do. They argue. And he said, you only argue with the people you love.
That's right.
That's what he said to me.
And everybody in New York, which is really funny, if you yell at somebody and you work with them, we could yell at each other back and forth and use every obscenity in the book. But when it's all done, we're still having lunch, right? We're done. The argument's over. Nobody cares. It's done. You got it out of your system. We're good. You use the C word, the F word, pick other words. Your mother's this, your blah, blah. But when it's all over, it's like we're still going to the deli, right? Because I'm hungry. And I go, of course. And if the argument's over, you go to the deli. And then the other thing I get, being a New Yorker, because I talk at a volume sometimes, people are like, you're screaming. I'm like, I'm not screaming. This is how we speak in New York. We're not a bunch of pussies. They go, excuse me, may I have a glass? No, I need a glass of water. Give me it. No, chop, chop. That doesn't have all day. Let's go. I mean, it's a New Yorker thing. And that's why the rest of America is pussies.
This is why I know I enjoyed it so much, because I always get accused of talking too loud, shouting at things. And I went, and then I get to New York and I go, hey, my people, look at this. This is great. Hey, you stupid son of a bitch. Hey, good evening, sir. How are you?
Yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah. And the best thing about New York City is those little, you have the red man and the white man. And I'm not talking Indians and white people. I'm just talking about the little street sign things. And the best thing about it is those are suggestions. Because even when it says red, people keep walking. You got guys beeping the horn, going, "I'm driving here." And people, we're walking here, and then the cars will start inching up. The people will keep walking, and then finally the cars will win. And people are like, "There's a red hand. We'll wait," and it starts all over.
About 2 weeks after I got there, I had this big friend of mine. I mean, he was a big friend.
The black guy you were telling us about,
huh?
Is it the black guy you were telling us about?
No, this is another New Yorker, also a big guy. Okay. And he was showing me around the city, and we were just walking around, and then I would get to the crosswalk, and I would wait, and he says, "What are you doing? Come on!" And he says, "You got to be a proper." I said, "But it's green for the cars." He says, "Whatever, there we go. They got to stop." I'm like, and he says, "That's what New Yorkers do." He said, "You can't. No way. Hey, what are you doing?" And you
hit the car. Yeah, it's like
I loved it. But Steven, I got to say this. The weird thing for me was everybody equates New York with the mafia and grudges and history.
That's true. Yeah,
the truth is there's no time for a grudge. I think the rest of the country might have a grudge, but New York, there's no time for a grudge. As you say, I shout at you, I call your mother a whore, and then we have a coffee. It's great. It's great. It's great. It's great.
It really is. But we're that way from kids. like you play in the stoop, or you played stickball. If you don't know what
Your
stickball
mother's a
is,
whore.
yeah, you're right. And if somebody does something while you're playing stickball, and you could be 8 years old, and you're like, yeah, your mother, my mother, and you go back and forth. It's just it's like a brotherhood and a
Yeah.
sisterhood. I don't think that it's there anymore for the kids. Maybe it is, but when I grew up, it was,
I don't know.
I grew up when Times Square was Times Square, baby. The triple X places, drugs, 3 card Monte, everything. And when I started on Wall
It's a
Street, we
little
used to take
different
the
now.
trainees.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little different. We used to take the trainees there. And then I think it was either Giuliani or Bloomberg said to Disney, we'll give you like $2 billion in tax credits if you come and clean it up, which they did. And it's just bad. It's just in a different way. But I mean, it's still New York, but it's not New York. I to an extent, I do miss the New York of the 60s and 70s. I'm just talking of the year 60 and 70. There's no number in front. I do miss that. I do miss those days
Right.
because there was
Right.
something to it. Now, New York, somewhat politically correct. They just did the gas tab. They're doing this. It's New York. They don't give a shit. It's like, really? Who cares? It's like, we don't care. But if a plane goes down the Hudson again, you got 36 million people. Half of them are going to get what they did the last time. The plane went down. People got in their private boats. People got on their boats. People were waiting at the dock. People did this. They were there. The same when 9/11 happened, whether it was private or commercial vessels, and we're picking up people, shuttling them out. People were there to help. Everybody was in New York. And what's amazing about New York, everyone's a New Yorker when there's a crisis. When you look at
but that's
LA,
what I'm saying.
not everybody's they're not all, I don't know what the proper term is for Los Angeles people, but they're not all Los Angeles. They're all like me, 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 me.
What are they,
Same
angels?
everywhere else.
Yeah, they call them Angelos.
Whatever they are.
What
Yeah,
Angelos?
are
Or
they
something?
good for them?
All
And
right.
but New Yorkers, you could be from Bangladesh and be there 2 weeks. If there's a
Yeah,
crisis,
nobody,
you'll get involved, and now
yeah,
you're
nobody
in New
cares.
York. Yeah,
That
it's
is
like,
true. That is
yeah,
true. Yeah,
we have a
that is
different
true.
mentality, and that's it. And we know we have the mentality, and it's part of why I like Colin Quinn's thing is it's very true. You go on holiday and you're looking, oh, look how beautiful. I'm driving over a hill and blah, 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 blah. I go on a holiday and I'm like, these people could never live in New York. And he said that. And my whole life, I've always said that. And I'm like, yeah, he's right. I'm like, yeah, we say that. I go anywhere in the world. I'm like, you could never make it in New York. Look at this. And then the other thing is in New York, everything is quick. You get your sandwiches quick. You get your ice cream quick. No one says no one cares. What do you need? Boom, boom, done, done, done. Anywhere else in the world, I go get it. I place an order. How's your day going? I'm in a hurry. We got things.
What do you care how my day's going?
It's like, who the hell are you to worry about my day? It's like, I got things. What
I
are
love
you writing a book? Leave that chapter out. So it's just a different mentality that we have.
love
And
it.
then I look at the disasters in the United States and I'm just like, you just need New Yorkers to run everything. Be so much efficient. I'm talking like PS 137, like the kindergarten. They could run the country and we'd be fine.
I just wish, I hope that isn't gone, because that to me is why it is why. I mean, that was the first, what, I guess, major metropolis in the colonies, and the old 13 colony US. I mean, New York was it. New Amsterdam, then New York. I mean, it was where where all the shit came in, people, goods, and it's just, I don't know. I will say this about New York. It was the only city that I was ever in where people didn't bother me with where you're from, because everybody's from somewhere. They didn't care. The only reason why the guy spoke to me in New York, because I think he was a linguist or something. He was a barista and studying, and he spoke to me and he said, "Oh, I can hear this in your accent and that." And we spoke. But other than that, no one gives a shit where you're from. It's not that people take it wrong. It's not that they hate where you're from. They just don't care. Why? Does it matter where are you from? Why are you here now? And what are you doing now? And why are you talking to me now? And that's the thing. That's the thing I figured out very quickly. If you are exactly who you are and they can see that, not a problem. Then the next level is, do we have a reason to talk? Good, then we'll talk. If we don't, done. Why waste? There is such a sense of don't waste time. Don't waste time. We have, time is so important there, and I think on some level, what I loved about it, it was honest and people understood what time was about. So time is important to people there. It's like, I am now having fun and I'm going to have the greatest fun. And then I'm going to do the greatest work. And then I'm going to, that's it. Just don't stop me. Just let's do it. And I might screw it up. So what? No one cares. They care if you are wasting their time. If you're negative, if you're just what? If you don't want to be here, then piss off. That's it. Like, what are you moaning about? Fix it, shut up, or leave. Whatever. And I wish, when I look at the thing, what's going on in LA, I think to myself, if they just used a bit of that, don't worry about who's rich and who's entitled and who's privileged and who's poor and who started it. Well, that is important. We do need to know who started it. It was Elon Musk. No, I don't know. Shit, whatever. But it doesn't matter. Does it matter who started it? There's people dying. There's people losing shit. Some of them are rich. Okay. And don't they deserve?
And some of them are poor.
What does it matter? What does it matter who they voted for, who they like, what their policies are, whether abortion's important to them, whether the healthcare should be free, whether they believe in the environment? Fuck that. Fix the fire, get the people safe, sort that shit out. Everybody, roll it. Yeah. I'm looking at this going, like you said earlier, if this had happened in New York, this fire would have been out already, would have been done. The whole fucking city would have been there. People would have, the homeless guy would have grabbed a brush and he'd be whatever. They would just do it. And then later, we can all hate each other. But right then, now, for God's sake, the place is on fire. Fuck, fix it.
That shows how bad America is
debating who voted for who and why should this funding be there. And I'm going, good Lord. What does that mean? Why? It's so pointless. It's utterly pointless.
Welcome to the
it doesn't matter whether it's left or right, whether you're blue or red or purple or orange, or it doesn't matter if you're orange. Sorry, I know you like that. Don't be orange. Don't be orange. Don't be orange. But this is the thing. Just roll the sleeves up, fix the problem, and then worry about the other shit later. But I don't know, Stephen. It's disappointing for me because yes, you should be allowed to speak and have your opinions and stuff, but it can't. It shouldn't divide people like that. It shouldn't. This is the problem I have. We've had this conversation, you and I. I can completely disagree with a mate of mine. It doesn't mean we're not mates. Why?
We're still friends at the end of the day. Yeah.
Why are families? I see these articles where they talk about families getting split up by Trump being in office. Really? What?
Stupid people.
Why? Who gives a shit? Why is that important to you?
We're not a society that thinks anymore. We're a society of stupid little drones. And there's a great book. It's called The Lincoln Douglas Debates. I think I've brought this up on the show before. It is Lincoln and Douglas debating for the presidency. And Douglas was a black man, by the way. And it is a phenomenal book. And their debates would go on for like hours. And the way it would work is Lincoln would be on one side of the field, if you will. Douglas would be on the other side. And they would go back and forth and debate. Or have a separate one and they blah, blah, blah. A fascinating read. And people would be like, yeah, whatever. At the end of the day, they all had cigars and went off and had their mistakes.
Right, like men.
Right, like real men. And I'm assuming real women or men that like men if they were in San Francisco. But anyway, I think part of this problem is that, and we say this a lot of it's the parenting, a lot of it's social media. A lot of it is like, I've got to get mine. Like I watched, someone sent me some stuff on the LA fires and I'm like, this is all terrible. And they go, yeah, just get to like the fourth video I sent you. And the fourth video, then they start blaming like, oh, this is how Elon Musk is going to put in the new whatever thing, or this is this, or Gavin Newsom's doing that. I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, seriously, this is what people are worried about instead of like, how do we do that? And then I saw the video about the fire trucks from Oregon, and then I went and researched it and actually read a newspaper article. And I'm like, if that's true, that's the dumbest thing in the world. And then I'm thinking to myself, this is why your little city is burning the way it's burning. But they are videos of people like starting fires. It's kind of like, well, you know what I'm thinking? You know, it's like a Jewish going out of business sale. Let's just set the store ablaze. We have insurance. I mean, so for some of it, I want to say 90% of the fire in LA, I think, was however originally started. I think there's another 10% that probably, arsonists are like, well, this is a good idea. Like, we can have some fun tonight. And then you have people now guarding their houses. That I saw a sign. It was in the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times yesterday, in an article that said, "I'm armed and I'm present and I'm the homeowner." And the police are like, "We don't want you to do that." And there's videos
Oh
of people
yeah,
getting
guys
looters
dressed
out of
up
their
as
city.
firefighters looting.
Yeah,
Fuck.
I'm like, "You guys, like, enough." The world's a hell in a handbasket. I say this somewhat tongue in cheek. When the overlords finally get here with their big ships, and I think it's supposed to be tomorrow at noon,
Right.
that would be awesome, because enough of this. Like, we've failed as a society, and that's it. We have 8 billion idiots on the planet. Enough. Like, you start over, destroy us, and the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's okay, destroy, and you put a new one out.
Go to the restaurant at the end of the universe. Yes.
Yeah.
So here's what's the population of LA? What would you say?
Let's say 40 million.
40 million people.
Let me
Area?
look it up while you're
Roughly?
talking. Go ahead.
All right. And it's what? It's a big area. Big, I don't know, the greater Los Angeles.
I'm sorry.
area.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I thought, wow, I'm an idiot. Population of Los Angeles is 3,821,000. That is of 2023. So they lost a few lives. So 3.8 million. So there you go. So,
But if you extend it out, I mean that's
LA County. What's the population? Let's see what that is.
The whole the whole greater area. And the reason I say that is, if however many people you mentioned now,
Yeah.
right, we're all taking
All right.
off. What is
LA
it?
County, if I may, as of 2024, the whole population of LA County is 9,606,925. I think they said they lost 25 people to fires. So it's
Right.
9,606,900. There you go. So
I'm going to round it
9.6
up.
million.
I'm going to round it
10
up and say 10 million.
Okay.
There are
There you
10
go.
million people in a, by American standards, a relatively small area. 10 million
Yeah.
people, right?
Yeah.
If they all said, right, none of us are going to work for the next 3 or 4 days, and we're all
Yeah.
going to do something, whatever it is,
Yeah.
even a bucket of water. If they all decided tomorrow, all of them,
Yeah.
every single person, we can't operate like this. We can't. We hate all these people, but right now we don't want them to die,
Right.
and we all need to be. We're all part of this. So let's just do what the New Yorkers would do, down tools or whatever it is that we do, and
Yeah.
fix this. Don't bicker. Stop this bickering. Stop blaming people. For me,
Right.
that is a decidedly, and I'm going to sound like a patronizing piece of shit, but there it is. It's not what I consider an American value. All this bickering
Correct.
in the face of adversity and tragedy. I've always looked to to what America's about. Yes, we all hate each other, but when the shit's down, when 9/11 happens, right, that's done.
Yeah.
We fix this. And I believe that if they stop worrying about who the hell started it, what political affiliation, just get in there. And the other people as well, other states, whatever, just get in there and fix the damn thing. Are you kidding
Well, they
me?
tried, but
Just
they
fix it.
won't let them come in. They don't let them come in because the
Fix
trucks
the
don't
damn
pass
thing.
emission tests. Yeah. No, they can't do that.
I'm saying this is from a country, and I always go back to it, that put someone on the moon, and they really
Yeah.
did. Stanley Kubrick.
I agree. Yeah. Thank you,
Put
Stan.
somebody on the moon. What is it? What is the economy worth? $20 trillion? Is that
Something
about
like
it?
that. Yeah,
Right.
plus or minus.
There are a lot of people from around the world, either first generation Americans or immigrants or third, whatever. There is a collection of intellectual capital, physical strength, ability, resources, and you want to tell me that people can't put out a fire in Los Angeles?
Right.
I don't buy it. If you're arguing about it, then sure, you'll never put it out. And it's big. I mean, it is big. I'm not downplaying that at all. But how long has it been going on for? Days now.
Like
Days.
a week. Like a week or
I'm
something.
going, quit bickering about who did what, why it is, whatever, the water wasn't there, or whatever the fuck it was, the mayor, this, Gavin Newsom, that, did Donald Trump do something, did elongated Rusk do something? You work that out later. Work it out later. But right now, the priority is to just get that thing done.
If they can't.
And that's the thing, going all the way back to the beginning, that for me, as someone who has been I don't know whether I'm a student of American history or a fan or whatever it is, but someone who really respects how the whole thing grew and where it came from, and all the imperfections and the weird history and how the state lines were formed and blah blah blah. It's virtually a baby in terms of nations in the world. It's brand new. It's less than 300 years old, not counting the pilgrims. I'm just saying it's new, and it was started because people said, "Fuck that, let's do," and they did. And now, and I mean, I'm thinking of people of the late 19th century into the 20th century. I mean, unbelievable people, amazing things done, extraordinary. New things created. The vacuum cleaner created in New York City. And brought the surgery. And there's so many things you can point to, and you go, now that's what it's about. And these people had come from shitty countries, from shitty lives, and they went, I'm going to do stuff. And those are the people that built that place. And I look at the current crop and I go,
no, not happening.
No,
JFK. Remember what JFK said? He says, "Don't ask what you can do for your country, but don't ask what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country while you're banging a hot blonde." And I think if we would just have that mindset,
just do it. Just
bang hot blondes. I agree. I think we should all do that. I'm just trying.
This is the shit that I expect from the old man countries in Europe. This is what I would expect there.
Well,
but America is still, I mean, and I'm not pretending to know everything about it, but apparently you and I have had this discussion. I seem to know a lot more about it than a lot of people there who don't appreciate.
You have to read a book.
What it's about. Yeah. It's not about putting up fences and borders and divisions. That is not what it's about. Go and read the history. Why the people went there, what they did, why they built things.
Right.
They were no political parties, no barriers, no. It's not what it's about. And if it is about that, then I've obviously had it wrong the whole time.
No. It used to never be that way. I mean, and unfortunately, it was with the civil rights, and then we got that done, and then became a thing with the women, and we got that done, and then became a thing with the gays, and we got that done. And just as we finally became harmonious, it only took 200 some odd years to get everybody like you're equal. All of a sudden now, well, not so much. So now we have a whole nother other thing going on.
Can I just qualify something in case someone's getting, and not that I really give a shit if anybody's getting offended by this, but there are many reasons why I think I'm qualified to speak about America, but no, I'm not a citizen. But I will say this. The reason why I pick on America a lot is because I have the view that most of the other world is done. For me, America, even since I was a kid, and I've been on this earth more than half a century, ever since I was a kid, I looked at it and I thought, okay, so it can be done. Yeah. You see, look at that. And I'm talking broadcast, marketing, building, skyscrapers, cars, whatever, science, technology, all these things. You go, okay, so what I'm looking at is a place where people went, okay, to hell with the bullshit, let's do stuff.
Right.
We're just going to get on with it. We may not get it right, but we're going to get on with it. And there was, I've always looked at it as a sense of possibility and just a direction for people to go. No, it's not perfect. No, you mentioned the civil rights movement and all that. I can't even imagine what that must have been terrible for I mean, the slave thing and all that. But the slave thing is not peculiar to America at all.
And what people keep forgetting is that the black people weren't the only people being enslaved. Whites were enslaved, and so was everybody else on a global scale when it was happening. Yeah. So when we do this retribution crap, I'm like, yeah, enough. Like, I'm done. It's like white people were slaves, black people were slaves. It just happened to be when they got to the States, they were 90% black.
Yeah. Basically, we're saying all people have an equal opportunity to be pieces of shit. That's what it is. Everybody's a piece of shit.
And that's a sad state of just, that's what I'm saying. The human population itself has failed over the years many times.
That's it. But you see, Steve, that's the thing about America. I thought, okay, so it's one of the newest countries in the world. Yeah. And it's big, and people left all this, went there and said, okay, let's reboot life, society, stuff. Let's invent new things. Here's our constitution, separation of church and state, because that didn't work. And we're going to We're going to craft a society where people can just do stuff. And we're not going to bother with each other. You're going to be able to say what you want. Of course, you must respect the fact that people should be allowed to respond to that. But we're not going to beat each other up for having opinions, because that's what they do in Europe. That's what the old people did. You couldn't say shit. You couldn't do stuff. We're not about kings. We're not about monarchies. We're about anybody can do anything.
Right.
There's no safety net. You get on with it or you don't. Right. And if you get on with it, well, stuff can happen for you. No guarantees. If you don't get on with it, well, it's not going to really be great for you. And then a no excuse or possibility society where excellence is celebrated and anything can be done. I went, fuck, there we go. You see, it's supposed to be a beacon or a. I always go back to this. Not perfect. Human beings are not perfect. Of course, mistakes are going to be made. Hence the opioid crisis. Whatever. I'm just saying, things get done, and you go, okay, we're not going to do that again. Like this country that I'm living in now, South Africa, the whole apartheid thing. I swear to you, you even walk down the racism route and you're in jail. It's a big deal here. You don't do that. So the folks have said, we're not doing that. And certainly growing up to some extent, I mean, I came from the UK, but I came here when I was a small kid. I grew up in this place and nobody ever thought, hey, that was a good idea. Maybe their parents did, but this generation, no. And I use that as an example to say, yes, you can make mistakes. And that was a big one, by the way. It was a massive one. And anybody in the world listening, don't do that. Apartheid, bad. Very bad. No. All right, don't do that. No. Because I believe everybody of any color is equally capable of being a dick. So there you go. And that's true. That's true.
That's true.
So what I'm saying is you do something, it goes wrong, and you go, right, don't do it again. And it's important that you don't do it again. That's the thing. And I'm saying, when I look at the American situation, there's so many things that haven't worked, but more things that have.
Yes.
And you, as you said, you mentioned all the rights movements that America's gone through, civil rights movement, gay rights, whatever. And you get to a point, you go, right, so are we all happy now? Oh, shit, what are we going to fight about now? Really, who's going to put out the fire? But we're all, you see this
evolution of society,
and then you see that, and you go, but I thought we were all grown up here. I thought we're
not. We're still a society of 5-year-olds.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that
I know what you're saying. I'm saying of course. And so why do you you're disappointed? You're on the other side of the planet. I live here. How do you think I feel?
Oh, but I still believe in that core of what it's about. I know that's naive. Of course it's naive. I know it is. And I know you mentioned why has it happened, and you mentioned social media. I think that, yeah, sure.
A lot of it, sure.
Yeah, but here's the response to that. If you know it's social media, then don't do it. If you realize
they can't help themselves because
if you realize that this shit hurts you, then don't do it. Then
they can't help
or learn from it.
Themselves. They can't help themselves. Everybody wants their 15 minutes of fame, and they want to be like, they need their TikTok video or their, which won't be around much longer, or Instagram or YouTube to get 50 million views.
But and Steve, do you go along with that? Is that your value system?
No.
Why?
We do.
Why?
Because I'm old school. So to me,
no, it's not just age, but why? Why is it why do you do that?
The way I think is this: when we do our shows, right, and we have 10 of them, and people that are familiar with the channel can watch whatever.
Yeah.
So we really do it as one. I get to talk to my mates. Everybody does a show with us as a friend, right? Whether it's a cigar show, this show, Lost Dollar, whatever it is, or we bring something beautiful like the art show, or we have the comedian that comes on, Greg Shapiro, and does his stuff. But it's just a fun hour for everybody because we all get to talk and exchange ideas like we used to in the olden days.
Right.
And if the show gets 10 views or 10 million views, we're like, hey, great, people enjoyed it. And we just do the next one next week or next month, whatever it is. And that's it. So we look at our channel. Yes, we understand it's social media and we have to put out shit, but we don't. But my point is we understand all that, but we don't look at it like that. We literally look at it as, hey, listen, we're having a good time. You want to come join our good time and our discussion? Come join. And if it gets 10 views, all right, good. If we got 10 million, Good. I'm glad you liked it. And that's it. We go on to the next thing.
I'm going to help you with why I don't have that value system.
Right.
I'll tell you what I think it is.
Sure.
So this has actually been studied. They said people in their 20s and 30s, they're actually globally, not America, globally, very depressed. Depression levels are through the roof. Even into their 40s, some early 40s people get very affected by online stuff. 50 plus, fuck off.
We don't care.
And but it's not just an age thing. It's not because they're older and they're more settled and they've gone through stuff. It's that when I grew up, there was none of this. So I had to learn about life from friends, family, human interaction, reading. So my path to this debatable adulthood that I'm in right now was none of that. I didn't identify this didn't define me. It didn't define me at all. It doesn't. There was nothing because it wasn't around. It didn't. I had to define myself or figure things out by falling in the mud, getting picked on by friends, picking back on my friends, getting a smack from my teachers, getting a caning for cutting books in half. I did that. I did actually cut things for a project. I got a caning on the ass. Right now, they would consider that abuse. For me, that was a life lesson, which I never forgot. Ask me if I ever cut up a book again. No, ever. Never happened. So there were absolutes, and there was very clear things about what you could do and what you couldn't do, what was right and what was wrong. And part of me says the advent of social media has been good. There are issues that you can make people aware of, but also what it's done is it's connected people who really shouldn't be connected. No, they not that they shouldn't be, but not healthy. And it's created the impression that literally any point of view is credible. Anything. There is no truth, no untruth. So now within that context, because literally you can find truth for any bullshit online, anything, pick it, and you'll find something to back it up. From Wikipedia to Alex Jones, anywhere in between, the spectrum of bullshit is there. Now, can you imagine? Because I can't imagine. I can imagine. I can't understand what it must be like to grow up in that environment and then become an adult with this completely fucked up sense of the world, because you have no idea what is good, what's bad, what's right, what's wrong, and whatever point of view you have, somebody will criticize and somebody will agree. There are no boundaries, nothing, zero. So no one knows anything, and I think that's what I think we're living in a global unknown. Anything can be validated. Everything is wrong. And I think as human beings, I just want to say this one thing. I want to say, as human beings, we absolutely need boundaries. You don't. Again, for people that form their character in the age of social media who don't agree with boundaries, fine, don't have boundaries. But I'm saying, from a mental health point of view, you absolutely need boundaries. You need to know where you fit and that it is okay. But you need to decide that, not social media. And you need to develop a bit of not a thick skin, but a sense of who you are. But if you have no value system, if anything goes, how the hell are you supposed to know what's right, what's wrong, who's good, who's bad, what's up, what's down?
Well,
And then
you got to learn to shut yourself off. Like there's a 6-hour period during the day where I have work to do, and I don't want to be my phone is off. When I have to do like stuff the old-fashioned way with paper and pen, I don't check emails. I don't go on anything. And I do my 6 or 7 hours of what I need to do. And then I'll check all my emails and I do this. And when I go to bed at night, my phone is far away from me. So I don't get up in the middle of the night, check. There's nothing that important that's coming across my phone.
But when we were kids growing up, a book was a credible source of information or story, and it didn't change.
This is a book, kids, just in case you don't know what one is. It has paper and everything in it.
It didn't change, because I hear what you're saying about cutting yourself off, and I feel that as well. But there are times when I think to myself, but I like it like this. I like interaction. But if that interaction
Right.
Has no substance. What is it? I mean, this thing can make you feel on top of the world or wanting to slit your wrists.
Yeah.
But it's a piece of plastic. But this is the problem. It is this defines people instead of this.
Right.
This.
That's what I'm saying. Old school.
I saw this online, therefore my life means this, and these are my truths.
Right.
Holy shit, this is why people 50 plus don't have that problem. And that can be as grumpy old man as you like. All I can say is, with all due respect, I'm very grateful that this for me is just a toy, and it's certainly it might as well be a shovel in my shed in terms of where I see it, in terms of its use.
When my mom was alive, we were out one day and she liked my Apple phone. She goes, "Can I have one?" And I said to her, "We'll buy you an Apple phone. I'll teach you how to use it for FaceTime and whatever. So when I travel, you can speak to me." And I said to her, "But the rest of the time, it's basically a $900 paperweight." She goes, "No, I'm going to use it. I'm going to check my mail on it." Okay. Oh, she did it for a week. And the only thing she kept using it for was the FaceTime to get a hold of me or text me. She learned how to do that. You learned how to use Uber. And then I would come see her. I go, "Where's your phone?" "Oh, it's over there." I go, "It's the paperweight's over there." I said, "When's the last time you charged it?" "Oh, I haven't needed it in the last 3 days." I'm like, okay. So it was a paperweight. And so I was kudos. It's like she was just doing her thing. But yeah, I think it's an age thing. I think when you and I grew up, we had to actually read newspaper, but we didn't have all this crap. We had, like, in America, 4 channels to watch. And all the shows sucked until 8 o'clock at night. So you read and you played and you went outside, and they don't do that. Everybody sits and wants to see how many likes they get on their videos and this other crap. It's like, I don't have time for that. I got shit. I'm a busy guy. So
I'm going to have to go, but I will bring, because we're in an hour now. I'm going to bring it back right to what I'm saying. Again, this is not Pick on America Day, but I reference America because I expect things.
Right.
Possibly unfairly, which I don't expect of any other country.
Right.
And I think that one of the reasons why people aren't putting out the fires, or not enough, or there's the break. This for me, strangely enough, it says social media, but this is a threat. This is a threat to social structures. It's a big threat. I see it as a big threat, and I think it's broken down empathy. I watched a show the other day. It was fiction, sure, but I'm sure it happens, where somebody a cop gets shot. It's a great new show. I'm not going to talk about it now or reference that. But in the show, one of the opening scenes, a cop gets shot. And instead of people jumping over fences to try and hold her throat closed or do stuff, there's like 10 people videoing.
Yeah.
And what it's done is people view life, even their own life, through this. And it's not real. So even reality is it's a drama. It's something I'm not connected to. And I don't know what the solution is, but I think that's why we have the political mess. I'm not even discussing politics is almost pointless now, because no one is equipped in that environment. How do you decide anybody? People say, "Oh, America's got to get better leaders." And how would you know if they came knocking on your door? You wouldn't know. And not America, anywhere. Well, how would you know? What do you base it on? You've based your decisions on this thing.
Right.
And but that's all people have. They think this is all they have. And to some extent, they're not wrong. What else do they have? News is not news. It's media. This is certainly not truth. YouTube is fun, but it's not real. It might, you might be able to ascertain there is some reality in it, but it's not real. It's not life. It's not. Every damn YouTube video tells you how you can change your life in a revolutionary way. It's bullshit. It's not true. Not true. I gotta go.
I know. Hey,
me.
Good to see you. Everybody, subscribe and like. We'll see you next week. Cheers, everybody.
Thank you so much for listening to this Roald Woods, Rob Vega, whatever the hell he wants to call himself, fellow. You know, this podcast thing, it makes him feel very important, and he's a difficult fellow as it is to deal with. So thank you so much for putting up with him, and do take care.